Hi, I'm Damian from skatingcars.com. In today's video we'll find out about the top most common mistakes that rollerblades make, beginner or advanced. So if this interests you, please stick around. Rule number 1. It's no safety gear but look. I know we are people. It's in our blood to we fall around, show off, etc. My main concern is health and safety. In my films, not once I saw comments saying that you're not wearing any safety gear. But if it comes down to my helmet, I agree, you should always wear your helmet even if you're a pro. But if we see, for example, some championship in the Olympics, they don't wear helmets and they still skating. The helmet is a very good thing to have. But other safety gear? It really depends on you. If you want to learn how to skate on rollerblades, and if everything you do gives you some problem, and it's an uncomfortable situation, then you should non-stop wear all the safety gear. Me in my videos I wear a helmet. Because it is necessary. It's a very good thing to wear a helmet while skating. If I do something that I know I can do with my eyes closed, on one leg in the back, then I don't wear safety pads. I don't wear those pads because they are unnecessary to me at that moment. But while we go rollerblade, and I know that I will be learning something, and that a problem can occur. In hockey it's no surprise you need gear, and there's no problem with it. But rollerblades, ice skates, if I'm going to learn something, I put on my safety pads. If I'm not going to learn anything new and just do something that I've done for the 10,000th time, I don't put on my safety pads, a helmet will do. That method has not failed me yet. I go for night skating, then I put on my gear. On my knees especially, or my arms. It's just important to wear a helmet and that's it, I start to ride. If you are a beginner, you should wear all the safety gear, unless you're hardcore. And you would rather fall down without any safety pads, it's okay. But if you fall frequently, I'm sure that safety gear is quite important. It happened more than once in one situation that a student came to me saying he doesn't want to put on any safety gear except for the helmet. He put on that helmet after lots of negotiations with him, and later he kept falling and on their own they realized how important it is to wear safety gear. You guys know what it's about. He does something new and didn't even realize that he could do so many things on rollerblades. Remember, guys, that a good instructor will systematically, slowly with a good head, but systematically will get you out from your comfort zone. You guys will be breaking your barriers. You have to work on that. Rollerblades really help to break those barriers. They really do give a lot of freedom and a lot of adrenaline, but to those moments you have to work your way, and in that way you have to do that, you have to learn from your mistakes at your own, and in that case it's good to have safety pads. So that's the first thing. It's all about moderation, not being like you need to wear safety gear cause I said so. Helmet absolutely, but safety gear for me, if I just stand here nothing is happening to me, I don't need pads on my knee, arms, etc. But if I'm trying to do something new and jump from a ramp that I had never jumped before, then I wear what's necessary because there is a high chance of me falling. Okay, that was the first thing. Second thing that happens on rollerblade depends on how you skate, beginner or advanced. Someone knows how to skate backwards and crosses his knees. Those things happened to me before, of course. Because maybe someone learned that on his own or has some wrong equipment. What's going on here? Like this, we can't skate like this, where the ankles go in the center. A lot of beginners do something like this. Have you guys ever seen that before? I do frequently. I can't even show that right, because when I have a mix of different clients, I'm so worried out that the ankle can bend like this, that it can make such an angle. I'm terrified by that. And that is one of the things we mainly focus on in the beginning, so the ankles bend in the proper way and many other things. So, if you skate in that way, it's a very big mistake. It can lead to many injuries, it looks awful, you won't be learning properly. Movements like this will always limit your potential. Alright, another mistake is leaning forward too much, that I mainly see in the beginners. One of the 3 rules is to lean forward, that the tip of the nose should be where the tip of the toes are. And that is okay, but I see a lot of people who skate like this. And that is a big mistake, because what happens? After 10-15 minutes, I see people having back pain. They hurt, right? Because for 15 minutes the back has been in this position. Too much leaning forward. I always say we don't ride like Adam Maurer, the famous ski jumper. It is a very important note to understand. Leaning forward but without exaggeration. Another thing is skating with the back straight. It's uncommon really, because when I have my lessons, everyone knows to lean forward a bit, but without exaggeration. So do not exaggerate with the leaning. So the 3 points are made: shoulders, knees and toes in one line. That makes one line. Don't exaggerate and don't do a ski jumper. I'm not sure which mistake we are doing now in order, but somewhere in the video I'll put some graphic, which mistake and what number it is. But anyway, the mistake is not bending your knees enough, because on inline skates we require to have the bent knees unnaturally, so bending the knees fully. That is when I have the tip of my knees covering my toes, that is the full bend of the knees. Very frequently we have a half bent knee. In some cases the half bent knee is okay. If you are riding down some stairs, for example, you got to step back a little, so that the wheels could skate down easily. But those are some exceptions. Generally you want to bend your knees together, and that is a very important thing. And very frequently it's like, bend your knees, but I have bent my knees. Okay, but it's not enough. You gotta bend them more, really. I know it's an unnatural, and when we walk normally we don't bend our knees like that. But during inline skating we require, most importantly for your knowledge, because you guys need to make it a habit. Then you guys will start to feel it. It will be muscle memory. I don't even think about it, but still have my knees bent. You guys first of all will have to focus a little more on if you are learning, because I don't know your level of skill in skating. But I feel like most of people watching my videos want to learn about basics, etc. Alright, bend your knees, fully bent knees. Very frequently we have our knees like this and skate like that. It's very stiff, too stiff. We need to bend our knees, just like that. Alright, another common mistake is bad fall reflex. Every one of us, like a second before a fall, feels, okay, here comes a fall. Most people who never learn from an instructor, never research for information, just like maybe you guys. Usually they are the type of people who never had any type of preparation. They just get their skates and try to skate, because that's just the nature of the human being. That's how it's look like, right? We got all our weight on heels, and we try to save ourselves by having our hands everywhere, just to not fall down. You gotta do the opposite, learn new muscle memory. Our body needs to adapt to these types of situations. In the moment of danger during the fall, we need to lean down just like that. And when we lean down, we take our hands out, even if we fall. We are close to the ground, so the fall won't be that painful. And if we take out our hands to the front, there's a high chance on falling on them. So that's very good. Fall on your hands, so you can soften the fall a little bit. The worst kind of accidents are the ones where you fall on your back, and while falling we take our hands here to protect our behind. That's how broken wrists happen. It's a very common thing that happens. So remember, wherever happens, do this. You minimize the risk of falling off balance. You need to learn that certainly. The teaching of fall properly is crucial, and very few people understand that. So I hope after this video you will begin to learn that and you will realize how important it is. Alright, next thing. If you're not an advanced inline skater, don't ride on your heels. It's a very difficult thing. You should be riding using the front, the second wheel. Let me explain. If you bend your knees fully, you will begin to feel that the weight of your body focuses on the front of the skate. If you don't bend your knees, your weight goes to the back. And if you start riding on your heels, that weight will be pointed right here, the third or fourth wheel. It will leave in an instant. You won't be able to control it. If you're an advanced inline skater, then okay, you can do that, sure. But what for? This is useful for doing a slalom or some kind of evolutions in that sense. But normally speaking, riding on your heels, nobody rides on heels, so why? In conclusion, you guys ride on your heels too much. Get your weight to go to the front of your wheels. It's the best if you really bend your knees all the way so that they cover up your toes. And take a look here, even my rollerblades, and yours as well, I can bet on that, are created so that your toes are closer to the ground than your heels. You can see in mine, I think. But anyway, I have my heels higher up than my toes. They are at an angle like this. If you have your rollerblades flat, if it looks like it's straight and balanced, I bet that you guys have your insert bigger on your heel and smaller on your toes, so that your foot is inclined to the front, because that's the proper way to inline skating. We lean forward. We can't ride like this. Some weird stuff starts to happen. Not having your knees bent, riding on your heels is a recipe for disaster. So skate like this so that you feel where the toes start. Is the exact point you should be putting your weight in. That way you guys will be safe. Alright, next thing is skating like the letter V. So I've learned how to ride in V position. This is a V position. And that is how I will skate the whole time. Then I recognize the beginner skater like a very beginner skater. Because beginner skaters after lessons ride differently because they know they have to ride differently. And they learn and they do the double scooter. They think differently about their skating. I see people who do this. You know where I see the most people doing that? On big group skatings, most of those people are at that. They always ride in the V position. It makes you look like you are not good on rollerblades using the same time of wrong movement. It shows that it's a safe position and you don't want to change it at all, and that you guys will lose all your stamina doing that. Those movements aren't effective at all. We can do that when we are moving through small places, but doing lots of kilometers using a V position, I'm not surprised that you guys get tired and that some of your muscles hurt, because using that method you will swing and do it extensively. I will do one movement with my foot and you will guys do 8. Unfortunately, that is how it looks like. So if you ride like this all the time, make sure to watch my channel, subscribe and click that bell so you get notifications about new videos coming out. Thanks to this channel, you will learn how to ride on rollerblades properly and not just using the V position. Alright, and the next problem is very similar to the V position, is that people don't come back to the base stance. Look at just the physics, how it looks like physically. If I have my legs on hip width, let's just say I have my knees bent already, just like I'm supposed to do. So I have my knees bent like this. And now check this out. My step to the side, it can look like this. And then it comes back. And if you guys don't come back to the base stance, this is how it will look like. Very frequently you guys ride like this. You guys don't come back to the base stance and you skate like this. It's same like the V position, but what's matter here is that you guys don't go back to the base stance too wide. Why? What does it matter? Now I'm doing back to base. And just like that, I made a couple steps and I got high speed and made it just in front of the camera. Why? Because my rebound step is that big, so that rebound is going to be much more effective. One rebound is going to be more effective because you guys do this. And that's it. You guys waste a lot of energy with every rebound. And on one skating, there is a few thousand of those. Count how much energy you waste and space just for having a stance like that. You don't go back to your base stance. You guys don't need to do double pushes or whatever. Just go back to your base stance. The base is the width of your hips. Check out if you guys do that or not. If you guys do, then just try not to do it again. There's no legendary technique to it or anything like that. Just understand that you have to go back. Even if it's uncomfortable to you, do it 1,000 times. It will be super comfortable to you and you will be a lot better with your skating. Boy, it's windy today. It's time for ice skating, I think. Alright, real fast, let me tell you about our mistakes. One of them is you guys don't add any rotations on turns and you don't go down. It's a big problem. When I teach about turning, I always say rotations in the end. I do the rotations in the very end. It's a lot easier, but at the beginning I focus it on my legs. But there is a problem with the legs. You guys do a turn and it's no problem for you guys to do a turn or not do a turn. Your knees are in the same way all the time. Exact same position like I just did. When you do a turn, then you need to go lower a bit. Really, it makes the turn a lot easier to control. You guys will be lower and closer to the ground. You guys will have a lot more balance. Centrifugal force won't throw you out. And that's it. Alright, last thing is the poor weight distribution. Poor weight distribution, what does it mean? Alright, we do the T-stop. For me, it's a signal that I have more weight distributed here, like 80–90% that much. Here, like 10–20%. Not more, not less. In the beginning, when someone is learning, T-stop doesn't work because there's too much weight distributed here. We need to do the 80–90%. I know it's difficult to define how much this is, and I don't really say like 81.5%. I say 80–90%. So you understand how big the weight is and where the weight has to go. Not like 70–80 going lower, so there's a lot more weight here. No, 80–90%. Here should be a lot of weight, this way we're going in. And here it must be a little. Very frequently in learning new techniques, we have poorly distributed body weight. During skating it doesn't really happen. You guys have it 50-50. Let's say we don't really have to focus on that took in some situations that's an error took in different stage. For example, scissors. Here I have 60% and 40%. That is also poorly distributed. If I have 80% here, then that's okay if I want to make a really sharp turn or slide. But if in any other situation, if I just want to skate and I will have here 80% of weight distributed, these front wheels will hit an obstacle and I will just fall like that. My weight needs to go in the other direction. It's a very poor and unreliable way to distribute weight, and that's the key to feel safe in the terrain, because I'm in the place that I don't need to be really afraid of. But when you're skating in town or something, it's a whole different story. We have water, sand, oil, rocks, sticks, acorns, lots of things. Bikers ride frequently, ride on the road or on the sidewalks. It's a totally different experience in a place like this. I have nobody here, so I don't need to worry. Poor weight distribution. It's such a big topic, it's hard to tell in a few minutes, and this material has got a bit of a length to it. Alrighty. Thank you very much that you listened to this long watching. If you have any questions or suggestions or other problems, if you don't agree, for example, just write me a comment. I try to reply to all of them even long after the posting date. Just write me anyway, I will find your comment. And I will be able to draw out some conclusions, because your opinion is very important to me. Alright, thank you so much for listening this long. Hey, see you in the other videos.